Hi everybody, it's Katrina. Welcome to the Crafty Corner. All right, so this is part 3 of our Cricut tutorial and our finale. We're going to actually cut some stickers. So if you've made it this far, you've done really well. Alright, and we'll cut out a little piece of vinyl as well. Alright, so I'm doing this one a little bit differently. I do not have a split screen because I'll have to move the camera over to the Cricut so that you can see what we're doing. Alright, so once again, your first step in part 1 should have been to read all of your information and do all of your registrations. Alright, that should have went painless and smooth. Alright, it's a very easy process. Alright, once you had done all of those things, you actually had an opportunity to practice. So I hope you pulled those Cricuts out of that box and you plugged them in, because they will enhance your business a great deal. If you saw my short, then you saw my price tags that I made. Alright, and these price tags, after I make them with the Cricut, I covered them with a holographic paper so that the ink doesn't rub off of them. You know, and then I can wipe them off if anything gets dripped on them or whatever. I remove them from my products when I sell the product so that I don't have to keep remaking price tags. And I just simply use twine to attach them to the baskets or the items so that I can reuse them. And this helps cut down on overhead of buying stickers with price tags on them or having to write them all out. You know, there are things that happen sometimes. I might forget the price tags. Then I end up having to write them out. You know, or use my sheet to tell people how much things cost. And I don't like doing it that way. It kind of makes if you're a consumer too, so you know that if you ask somebody how much something is in the way that we sell things, and they look at you and they go, "Oh, it's 35. No, it's 40." You know, then you know we're kind of looking a little crazy, and then they get a little iffy and thinking about the business. But anyway, let's get into this finale. Alright, I'm going to switch you around here so that you can see my computer screen, and then I will zoom you in so you can get a good view. Alright, so this is our canvas, and as you can see, I have nothing on the canvas. Alright, and we're going to do a sticker project. So what I'm going to do is check my uploads to see which programs are on, because I am in my paid account. Alright, so we'll go back to our canvas. I just wanted to see what my uploads were in here, because like I told you before, when you do things across devices, even on the same account, it doesn't show up across devices. So make sure you remember that. And we're going to go with a text box. Okay, give our Cricut just a minute and our text box will appear. Alright, and then I'm just simply going to write number 1. No, what did we have before? Best dad ever. Let's do that. Best dad ever. Okay. And then we're going to select a font. Once again, we did this. We come right up here to the top. Okay, we are right here. Alright. Cricut Sans is what the font is right now. I don't particularly care for that font, but I don't want a difficult font either. So I do want something that's fat but single layered. And I'm going to go into my system because I have a lot of fonts on this computer. So remember I told you when you hit Cricut right here, it's going to give you all of the fonts in Cricut Design Space that are free. Okay, if it is not free, it's going to have a $ with the amount that you'll have to pay to use that font. Okay, you click on System right here, which is what we're on. It gives you all the fonts in your computer. And these already belong to you. You don't have to pay for these. All right, and then bookmarked, of course, are the fonts that you like, and you bookmarked. Clearly, I haven't bookmarked any. I should, but I haven't. All right, and then remember, we're looking for single layer. See right here where it says single layer? Okay, unless you're going to layer vinyl, you need single layer fonts. All right. Alright, so we're going to do Bookman Old Style, which is this one here. It is a single layer font. And it is called Bookman Old Style. And we're just going to simply select it. Alright, so now our font has been changed to the Bookman Old Style. Alright, I'm going to select this whole thing just by clicking Dad. Alright, and I'm going to attach it. Now the reason I'm attaching it is because when we move it over to our cut board, your letters may go in different directions. It may say B, D, D, E, E, S, T, E, R, something like that. And then you'll have to pick out your letters and put them in order. If you just go ahead and attach that, then it's going to cut just like this, the way that you see it on the screen. Alright, this whole thing will cut. Best dad ever. Alright, now that's not always the case. Sometimes if you don't attach it and you hit make it will still make it in this order. But on the safe side, it's safer to just click on it and hit attach. And once it's attached, it comes back to your screen. And you'll see up here in your layers panel, right here in your layers panel, it says that it is attached. Alright, you can work on more than one project at a time using your layers panel. So if you had another project on here, such as our sticker project, alright, we'll go ahead and make a price tag. And I'm going to make this price tag by, again, clicking on text. Alright, and in this text box, I'm going to put the initials of my business, which is EBE. I'm going to move Dad up a little bit so he's out of the way. Alright, I'm going to go back to my text box and just double click inside the box so I can finish writing. And now that whole thing is blue and we don't want that, or all of your text will disappear. Alright, so we're going to go EBE, enter, $, and I'm going to put 35. Okay. All right, now, if I leave this like that, it's going to do single letters and everything is not going to come out as a sticker. All right, and what I want is for this to be a 2x2 round sticker. Okay, so what I'm going to do is select a shape. All right, so right over here on the side, you see shape. We're just going to click shape, and I just want a circle. I'm going to click that circle, and when those shapes come up, if you have Cricut Access, all of the shapes will come up that you have access to. If you do not have the Cricut Access, only the free shapes will come up. The other shapes will come up and encourage you to get the Cricut Access. Alright, so there's our circle. Alright, now I'm going to take this circle because it's already selected. It's the only thing on my board that's selected. Alright, and I'm going to go up here to the top, right there where it says Basic Cut, and I'm going to change this color to white. Alright, so now we have a white circle. Alright, now my circle is already 2x2, so I'm going to leave it alone. I'm just going to slide it right over here. I'm going to take this. I want the whole thing here. Alright. I've selected that whole thing. I'm going to attach it. Alright, and then I'm going to downsize it a little bit because it's bigger than my circle. Alright. Then I'm going to go right over here. And we're going to back up a little bit so you can see the whole thing. I'm going to take my circle and place it right over that EBE. Now, as you can see, my EBE is still a little too small, or a little too big. So I'm going to move the EBE and downsize it some more. And I'm going to put it back in the center of my circle. And while I have it selected, I'm going to change the color of it as well to green. I want the light green. There we go. Alright. And I'm just centering that a little bit. One way you can center it is to select both. And then come right up here to the top where it says align or arrange. You want to go to align. I'm going to click align and then come right down to where it says center. Alright, now it is centered and it's selected. Alright, so we have both of those selected. And when I say both of those, we have selected our circle and the text that we put in the center of the circle. Alright, we're going to go right over here. To the bottom. And we're going to select flatten. All right, when we flatten that, if you look at your layers panel, right up there at the top, it automatically changed this to a print then cut. So it's going to send it to your printer, and then it's going to cut it. And it's going to cut it in a circle after it's printed. So what I do then is I will take this that I have already made. It is 2 by 2. Okay, I have already made it. It is 2 by 2. And now I'm going to duplicate it. All right, so back on our layers panel at the top, there is a plus sign. All right, once you select that, it will light up on your layers panel. You will see the plus sign there. You just simply click it as many times as you would like to duplicate it. All right, I'm going to do this 20 times. All right, and I think that was 20. All right, and as you can see, Cricut is duplicating it and putting it on my screen. Doesn't matter that it's on the screen like that. Don't worry about that, because it will line itself up once we put it on our cutting board. All right, now on the cutting board, the first thing that's going to populate is Best Dad Ever. All right, because that was the first thing we designed. And remember, I told you your board is going to populate in the order in which you designed, not in the order in which you want to lay your vinyl, okay? Unless you design it that way. All right, so let's go to Make It. So you go right up here to the top corner where it says Make. All right, and before you click that, you're going to look right here and make sure that your machine is selected. When you click on this, sorry about that, y'all. When you click on that, see all the machines come up? You want to make sure that your machine is selected. Okay, and then we go right over here and we click Make. All right, it will ask you if you want to save your project. And I'm just going to click Don't Save because I already have this saved. All right, now it is taking us to our cutting board. So it is sorting the project into mats by colors. All right, so the first thing that it's doing is the stickers, and that is because it is a bigger project. And then it will do the simple cut last. So this one has to be printed. All right. So now that we're on our cutting board, you want to look over here and look at your mat. All right, what kind of mat, what size mat are we using? I am not using an 8 by 3 by 11. I am using the 12 by 12 mat. Or the size paper. All right, so we've got on mat right here. When I do this on my phone, it asks me what size mat I'm using. So we're going to say here 8.5 by 11 because that's the size paper that we're going to use. All right, so Cricut will adjust this so that everything is aligned the way it should be. All right, and once you've done that, you're going to go right down here to the corner where it is lit up, and we're going to click Continue. All right, then your printer page comes up. All right, what we're going to do is select Send to Printer. All right, it's going to ask you all the information it needs to know about your printer. It is asking me if I want to send it to PDF, and no, I do not. All right, so we're going to select our printer. And then you can use your system dialog if you want to. All that's going to do is bring up your printer settings from the actual printer program where you can change them. I don't need to do that. I also don't need any bleed, because bleed is what helps prevent the white around your stickers. And white around our stickers is okay for this particular project. Alright, so I've selected print. Alright, and it will tell you that it is preparing to print. Alright. And it is connecting to my maker. So the printer is going. And my maker is on, so it will either find it in a second or Alright, so our maker is connected now. I had to use the USB because sometimes the signal down here, it's not picking up my Bluetooth. But I've already printed it. Just like I showed you, it was printed. Alright, so then we're going to come down here and we're going to click on the material that we're using. So in Cricut Design Space, as you can see, it says set base material. Alright, and then these are just some of the materials that I've used quite a bit. So that's why they are on there. I have put them, bookmarked them as my favorite. Alright, if the material that you are using, if you're using vinyl or a different kind of sticker paper, holographic vinyl, whatever you're using, you're going to click Browse All Materials, and then just type in the material under the search bar that you're looking for, that you're using, and when it populates, you will select that. We're going to select printable sticker paper clear, no liner printing, because that is what I am using. Alright, now I always set my pressure to more because I do not want a sticker. I want a kiss cut. I don't want a kiss cut sticker. I want it to cut all the way through. Alright, so I'm going to select more. And just tell Cricut to remember those settings because I have one more page to cut. Alright, so now we're all set. We don't have to do anything else on the computer. So now we're going to turn our attention over here to the Cricut. Alright, and this is my Polar Cricut maker, y'all. We're going to back up a little bit so you can see it. Alright, and you will notice that you have a arrow light blinking there. Alright, that is your feed light in order to feed your stickers in there. Alright, and this is my sticker sheet that we just printed. Alright, so what I'm going to do is you need to have a mat from Cricut or from Temu or wherever you buy your mat, you want to buy your mat from. And the mat that we would usually use for this is the green mat. All right, this is the pink fabric mat. I use it because it's much stickier than the green mat, and I like for my stuff to stick so that it cuts good. So simply, I'm just going to line my mat with my paper. I like to take my little roller here and roll my paper onto my mat. Try to put it on so it's nice and straight. Doesn't have to be perfect, but you want it to be, well, organized. All right, and then I just simply roll it onto the mat so that it sticks down. All right, and you should have it on your mat just like so. All right. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to feed it into these guides right here on the sides. These guides right here, these little white guides. All right, there's one on each side. You want to slide your mat into those grooves. And I hold the bottom of my mat so that I can just give it a gentle glide inside. All right, so we're going to go over here now to our little blinking light, and we're going to press the blinking button. I'm just going to slide my computer out of the way because we don't need the computer right now. All right, so you notice that the Cricut machine grabbed your mat and slid it on through. Okay, you don't have to help it. I just hold the bottom gently to push it forward just a little bit. All right, now Cricut is ready to cut this. So we have a flashing C now. That's the Cricut symbol. All right, and we're just going to press it. Okay, once you press it, your Cricut turns on its magic. So what it's doing right now are those black L's in the corners. Cricut is reading those to see where those L's are at. Those are your registration lines. All right, your registration lines are only on your print and cut projects. Okay, the Cricut does not do this for just your vinyl cut projects, only for your print and cut projects. Okay. Once it has read all the lines and it knows exactly where to cut, your light will go off. Your cutter goes into the corner and it reads the blade that you have. So if you do not have the correct blade in your Cricut, it is not going to cut. Alright, and then it starts cutting out your project. So as you can see, it is cutting our 2x2 circles for our price tags. Now I did not cover this with the holographic sheet. And that's okay. This has sat out long enough to be good and dry, so these should last a little while, and I may have to make some more. I did 35 because I noticed that when I did my pricings, I didn't do any of my tags and stickers in 30 or 35 range. So I said that'll be great. We can do that for our project here. Alright. Now, before once Cricut's done, it's going to slide your mat just like this. You still can't get the mat out yet because Cricut has not released the mat. You notice you have a blue, a white light, which is your arrow lights again, over here flashing. All right, do not press that. Do not press that button. The first thing you want to do before you unload your mat, because that's going to unload your mat. Once your mat is unloaded, Cricut does not remember that cut anymore. You have to reprogram that cut again, and you cannot cut over what you've already cut because it's not, the lines are not going to be the same. All right, so before you unload your mat, go over here to your mat, your cutting mat, and you just want to give your stickers a lift. All right, so those are still not cut all the way through, and that's because I picked the sticker paper that I picked. All right, so instead of pressing that flashing button, I'm going to go next to it and press that C again that we had already pressed to get it to cut to the first time. Now if you press your C again, Cricut will go back in and cut it exactly in the same place that it cut it the first time. Alright, but if you unload your mat and try to load it again, you're not going to get the same cut, and it's going to mess up your project. So make sure you check to make sure your project has cut all the way through before you unload your mat from your Cricut. Now you can decorate your Cricut any kind of way you want to. You notice I have the sloths on mine, or sleuths, or however we say that. Tomato, tomato. Alright, so it is cutting it all over again for me in the exact same spots because we didn't unload our mat. We just simply hit cut again, hit the C again. And I will do the same thing. It's going to slide it out. Alright. And I'm just going to lift it to see if we cut. Now you can see we cut it this time. Okay, so now that I know it's cut all the way through like I want it, I can go over here to the unload button that's flashing, all right, and press it. And it unloads and releases my mat. All right. So while we're doing that, while I'm taking this off of the mat, we're going to come back to the printer, or to the computer, I should say. And I'm just going to set it here where you can see it, because we're not using our Cricut just yet. Alright, so we are back at our printer, our computer. Alright, and we are on our next project, and I'm going to simply say send to printer. Alright, and your printer setup box will pop up again. Alright, and we're going to send this to the same printer, which is my HP Envy. Alright. And as you can see, the HP Envy is right there. She has lit up, turned red, and she is now printing. In the meantime, I'm just unloading this mat. Alright. Now, when you take your items, and I'm just going to switch you around. Alright, when you take your items off your mat, you want to peel your mat away from your item. Okay, don't go in and try to just peel your item off the mat, because you're going to end up with paper stuck on your mats. So take your time when you're doing this, so you can get your stickers off without peeling them apart, or without them sticking to the mat and tearing in the back. Okay, see how that little piece right there is offset? Those are the little pieces you don't want torn on your mat. Alright, so I'm going to take all of these off. Okay. And I'm just kind of pushing it from the back so that it pops up and gives me a ledge to push on. Alright, so we got all of those off. Alright, we're just going to take our next sheet, which is over here, that just printed out. And we're going to rinse and repeat. I'm going to put this on my mat. Just like so. And I'm just smoothing it down. Alright. Gonna switch you around. Alright, and you noticed we still have our more pressure. Alright, it still says sticker paper, because we told Cricut to remember our settings. So let me move the computer out of the way. And I'm simply going to lay my mat. I'm going to roll it. Roll my sticker paper onto the mat just to make sure it sticks and stays in place. Alright, we're going to slide it in our guides. And I'm just holding it at the bottom here. And I'm going to press my arrows again. Alright, once you press those arrows, your C will start flashing. Cricut will grab your paper. And you just simply press the C. And it will do the exact same thing again. The light will come on and it will start reading the registration marks. So when you print your papers, be careful, especially if, like, my printer's an inkjet, and the ink dries pretty fast, but you want to give it just a few seconds to get dry good, because if you smudge your registration lines, Cricut may not be able to read them, and then it won't be able to cut your project. Alright, so those are just some things to be mindful of. So it has read the registration lines, it's checking the blade, and then it's going to come out and start cutting. Same thing, our 2x2 circles for my little price tags that look like so. Now remember, the last time we had to cut it twice. Alright, so before I even check this one, I'm just going to go over here and press my C. Don't press your release button. Alright, because it will release your mat and then you won't be able to cut it again. We're going to go next to it and press that C again. And Cricut's going to cut it again in the exact same places. Alright, if you unload your mat and then try to cut it again, it's not going to cut in the same places, and it's going to mess up your project. So make sure you check your cut before you unload your mat. Alright, if it has not cut the way you want it to, then press your C again. Don't unload your mat. Alright, so now It has cut it again. We're just going to lift it and see. As you can see, it has cut. The sticker paper is pulling away. My circles are still there. Alright, so now I can go up here and press the flashing arrow buttons to release my mat. And as you can see, Cricut pushes your mat out. Alright, and then again, I'm just going to take my paper, gently remove this top sheet just like so. And then I'm going to gently peel my stickers off. Alright, and these are what we call regular stickers. Alright, now if you want your stickers to stay on the sheet, just cut them one time, but instead of 2 times to get it all the way through. And then you can just have a whole sheet of stickers. Alright, and that's a whole nother tutorial. We can go into sticker making and stuff like that at some point. But for the purposes of this tutorial and just getting your business going, this is what I make to put my price tags on my Cricut. Alright, now remember, we have one more cut. Alright, and that's our vinyl. So, we're going to grab this computer again. We're going to get our computer. And I'm going to, so you can see that Cricut is now gone to our third option here to cut. So I'm going to zoom you in. Alright, as you can see, we're on number 3. Alright, and remember what I told you. Alright, that mat for number 3 is black because we selected black text for our writing that says Best Dad Ever. Alright, and that just tells Cricut that we're going to use black vinyl. You don't have to use black vinyl. I would suggest as you start out to try to match your vinyl or or try to match your color on your design board with the vinyl that you're using so you don't get confused. Alright, but after you've been doing Cricut for a while, it doesn't matter. If I make red text or if my text comes out black but I'm using red vinyl, it doesn't matter. The only time that I worry about those kinds of things is when I'm layering vinyl. And I'm not doing that right now. We're going to use black vinyl. And I'm going to show you how to put that on your cutting board so that it cuts out correctly, okay? Alright, so I'm going to hover over this so that it pops up right there. Alright, and you see your Best Dad Ever has popped up there. Alright, it is right up here on the top. Alright, it is right up here on the top. Right there. Alright, what I want you to notice about this cutting board, this big black cutting board here that says Best Dad Ever on the top, is that it looks just like your board here. Alright, so you'll notice on your screen, and I'm going to move this, no I'm not, I'm going to leave it just like that because I don't want to confuse you. Alright, that it starts at the 1 and it goes all the way to the 7 or the 8. Alright, on the top of your board here you have your numbers. Alright, you want to make sure your vinyl goes from 1 all the way down to 8. Alright, and then you also will notice that it's covering 1 square top to bottom. Alright, so you want to make sure your vinyl is at least that long are that wide and that long. All right, so you're going to take your vinyl and I'm going to switch what I'm doing. Alright, this is our vinyl. Okay, and this is the Cricut brand removable vinyl. Alright, and I'm going to place it on this mat. Alright, and I'm going to start at the one in the corner here. And just lay it down. Alright, so you will see that our vinyl starts at the number 1 and it goes all the way down to the 8. This actually goes down further than that. Alright, and then it also covers the space here. Now, I usually will cut mine first and then cut out my design and leave the rest of the vinyl intact, instead of trying to figure out where to cut it at. Alright, so we have a big enough piece of vinyl that we know we're going to get this cut, okay? Alright, and then we're going to do the same things. Alright, so let me switch your computer. Alright. Now we're on our basic cut. Alright, and we're going to change this because we told Cricut to remember our settings. Alright, but remember, we're not cutting stickers anymore. We're cutting premium vinyl. So we're going to select vinyl. Alright, I'm going to go in here and select more. Where it says pressure, I'm going to click that down arrow and I'm going to go right here and select more pressure. We don't need to remember our material settings because this is the only material that we're setting. Alright, so the Cricut is programmed now. That's all we have to do. It is programmed to cut this piece of vinyl. Alright, so let's move this computer. And we're going to put our paper, cutting board or cutting mat in those guides. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to press my arrow. You'll notice this time that Cricut, your Cricut cutter, does not read the lines, okay? So we put it in there. We're going to press this, which is our C that's flashing so we can cut. And no light's going to come on. It's not going to read any lines. It's just going to detect that you have the blade in place. And then it's going to come over here and cut what you told it to cut. Now, Cricut can cut pretty fast, so, you know, sometimes it's not quite as fast as we want it to be, but it can cut pretty fast, and depending upon how many projects you're doing, because you could do several projects at one time, you just need to make sure you organize those projects in a way that you can remember what you're doing and what's next, especially if it involves print and cut projects that you are printing on different kinds of sticker paper. It's very important to know your numbers when you're doing that, how many sticker papers you need. Alright, so when my vinyl has cut, I will usually go back in. All right, because this is at the top of the page, and this is why I usually move my text down so that I can actually see if it has cut. But I'm just going to go back in and I'm going to cut this one more time. So instead of unloading it, I'm going to press the C again. And Cricut's going to go back in and cut it in the exact same place again. And that's just so I can make sure that my vinyl comes apart the way that I want it to. This is some pretty good vinyl. It is the Cricut brand, so it is a little more expensive than some of the other brands, but there are plenty of brands of vinyl out there that you can use. And I will tell you, they are not a sponsor, but my favorite brand of vinyl is Tech Wrap. I think Tech Wrap has the best vinyl out there. They are the ones that actually have the color change vinyl. Well, I'm sure other people have them too, but they're big on the color change vinyl, neon vinyl. They just have, and their vinyl cuts like butter, and it's very, very easy to do your transfers with those vinyls. All right, so we are done now. I'm going to go right here and release my mat from the Cricut. All right, so once you have taken that off, your mat off the cutting board, you just simply go down here to the corner on your page there. We're going to click done. And the Cricut is going to take you back to the project that you selected. All right, and this was the one that I saved that we had on our mat. All right, and I'm just going to close this out. So as far as Cricut Design Space, we are done with the computer. There's nothing else we need to do with the computer or the Cricut. All right, so I'm going to X out of here. It's going to ask me, do I want to quit? And I'm going to say yes. All right. Now, what we want to do next is the same thing. Get y'all set up here. And that is to remove our vinyl from our mat. All right, and you're going to do the same thing. Peel it, bend it back. Don't crack your mat doing it. Just bend it enough to get your vinyl to pop up. All right, and you want to pull your vinyl away from the mat. Don't pull the mat away from your vinyl, okay? All right, so we've got that off. All right, and I always recommend putting your plastic cover, because these mats come with a protective sheet over them. Save your sheet and put your protective sheet back over your mat. I gotta find mine. Don't laugh at me. Don't judge me. It fell somewhere and my daughter picked it up and I don't know where she put it. But I have more mats, so we'll find that. So if you look at your vinyl here, you see that you have a cut. All right, your best dad ever has cut. All right, so I'm going to trim this down. All right, and I'm just going to cut this down so that when I apply the transfer vinyl or the transfer tape, I don't have such a big piece to work with. All right, so this is my extra vinyl. Of course, y'all know I don't throw vinyl away unless I absolutely have to. All right, and this is the piece that we cut with our Cricut. All right, so what I will do, And I'm just going to lay this on this table here so that you all can see what it is I'm doing. Okay, I'm going to flip. Excuse my mess, or don't. Alright, this is the vinyl, piece of vinyl that we cut. Alright, this is my Tech Wrap transfer sheets. Alright, and this is, I love using this. Alright, and then of course we need our scraper. Alright, and that's just so we can scrape our vinyl. And then I use my little pick to take the vinyl off. Alright, so what you want to do is peel off your outside vinyl. Alright, now sometimes the vinyl comes off like butter. Sometimes you're going to have to work with it a little bit. Alright, that came off like butter. That came off like butter. And alright, so there's your cut. It says best dad ever. Alright, and I'm just going to weed out these negative spaces that we don't need. Alright, so that fixes our B. Alright, we want to fix our E. Alright, this middle part comes out of that D. Take this part out of the A. And our E. Alright. And this is what your design should look like. Alright, it says best dad ever. Okay, and I'm going to flip this over so we don't get any vinyl, any places that we don't want it. I'm going to take a piece of Tech Wrap that will fit over my design. And I'm going to cut that out so that I can pick up my design. Try that one more again. Alright, so that will fit our design, okay? So what I'm simply going to do is just peel this off. Now you don't have to peel the whole thing at one time. I just do. Alright, and you want to scrape this down so that your vinyl sticks to the sticky paper. You want to, because we're going to take it off of this backer that it's on. Alright, so we are sticking to the sticky paper. And once again, like I said, I'm using Tech Wrap And Tech Wrap is really good. Alright, now, if you want to keep this from rolling, there are different things that you can do. I actually have rollers to keep it from doing that, but I didn't pull those out. And I'm just putting this design on this candle so that you can see how to put your designs on. Alright, if you do not have a roller and you have a cutter, bam. Set it up on your cutter, okay? That's a nugget for you, KOK. I saw you put Layer and Byron one day. Alright, and we're going to put this right here on our candle. Just like so. Alright, and I'm going to smooth this once again using our scraper so that it goes down on this glass. Now, what you want to do before you put your vinyl on here, and I already did this, is clean your glass with alcohol. Alright, and that way there'll be no residue and you can make sure your design sticks. Okay, once I have braided it down the way that I want it, it's going to make sure it's down there good. I'm going to peel this vinyl back just like so. Alright, and it's a little crooked, but that's okay. This says Best Dad Ever. It is on our candle now. Alright. Alright, there's our candle. It says Best Dad Ever. Congratulations, your Cricut is out of the box and you now know how to make some stickers and cut some vinyl to put on some of your basket projects and enhance your business. I hope you found this tutorial helpful and that it helps you to enhance your business and grow and keep growing. Please make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Please share this video with anyone that needs some help with their Cricut. This is the finale. It is 3 parts and I have linked the parts together. So make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe. Be blessed. And if I can help you any further with your Cricut, if you want to do more advanced work with your Cricut, please let me know. Because we can layer vinyl. We can make kiss cut stickers. We can make puffy stickers. We can do warps for your heat transfer designs. If you want to warp your wording, meaning you want them to have a twist shape or something like that, we can do that. So just let me know. I am more than happy to help. That is what this community is about. This is our basket community, and I love all of you. Thank you for your support, and I hope that this helps you grow. Be blessed, but most importantly, be a blessing.